AJ, as you approach this Week 17 game, do you have a feeling that this could be your last one in Cincinnati?
Uh, Anything's possible. You know, just another opportunity for me. When I really think about my last game, I'm at a point in my career where I played for a long time, so just go out there, put my best foot forward, and whatever happens at the season, already is in God's plan. So, not really worried about what's going to happen.
What are you looking for in your what will be your 11th season in the NFL?
For me, it's just continue to. I want to win. Enjoy football. Just go out there and play, man. It's blessed. Can't believe how fast it went by. This is my 10th season, and it's been a blessing. Definitely, these last 2 years been hurt, but I wouldn't trade those, those moments for anything because it made me a better person, a better football player, and a better man. So,
AJ, evaluate this season that you're just finishing up, and what did you learn? What's the biggest thing you learned from this season you're just finishing up?
Everything's not perfect. Last couple of years, the first 7 years, you take those stuff for granted, all those Pro Bowls and all those yards, and just talking to Larry and some of these older guys, man, how everything is not going to be perfect, and when adversity strikes, it really shows who the man. I think that says build me up as a better football player and a better man. How I go about my business.
AJ, you've been healthy for all 16 games. I know that was one of your big goals. But I mean, do you feel like this is the season? How would you evaluate the season, and is it what you thought it would be at the start when you came back?
Yeah, like you said, definitely not my numbers that I'm accustomed to. So for me, it's I know some we left some things out there on the table, but I am proud of how I kept fighting through the season. No matter what the situation, what's going on, I continue to come in every day and work my butt off each and every day at practice. So, like I said, everything's not going to be perfect. You're not going to have the perfect season. Things hasn't gone the way I planned it coming in. But, like there's a lot of other things going in the world that could be worse. So I'm just happy I can be able to go out here and play the game that I love and get paid for it. So.
What would it mean to you if you could get a touchdown to tie Chad or two to pass him and get the Bengals record?
It'd be good. But like I said, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not, it's not. That's the way I look at things. I'm a guy that keeps everything leveled. And for me, it's just, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not, it's not. So, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over it if it doesn't happen.
AJ, what was the experience like having to work with three different starting quarterbacks, and all three of the guys got a victory? But how hard is it to get in a rhythm with three different guys in the same season?
It's a little different. I had Andy my whole career, so it's a little tough. But it's the game. We just in this NFL is always the next man up. But I'm very grateful for having Andy all those late years. And so, but Andy, Ryan played great. BA is playing unbelievable. We had an unbelievable game last week. So I think we're in good hands.
How would you describe playing with Joe Burrow, and what was that experience like for you?
Good. Joe's a young guy that's going to be a great one for a long time. I just had like I said, you didn't have OTAs. I missed a part of the training camp, so we got off on a slow start. But before he got hurt, I felt like we were, finally coming in, learning each other even more. But then he got hurt, so it was tough. But for me, I came to work every day. My approach every day is the same. So,
do you feel as though this offense caters to your skill set?
Like I said, man, I've been in a lot of different offenses. Probably the most different one I've been in. So I'm used to moving around a lot, put me in different positions. But in here we are a talented receiver group, so I don't have to move around this a lot. So for me, everything was new. pretty much played X the whole season. So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of routes I'm not used to, a lot of different little formation I'm not used to. It's usually me, put me on the island and let me go win, or put me in somewhere and let me go run down the field. So it's a little different this year. But hey, this is offense. So I can't really do anything about it. Like I said, I came and work every day. So
Have you gotten used to the offense? Do you feel comfortable in it?
I feel comfortable in it now, but it's a learning curve at first. Like any new thing, you have to continue to work at it. But it definitely was a learning curve for me.
10 years in, AJ accomplished a ton of things. Do you have any favorite game or any favorite accomplishment at this stage of your career that you want to reflect on? Or
Yeah, I think when we were rolling 2015, we played Seattle home and came back and won in overtime. So I think that's one of my favorite games, my best games, memory wise.
You've always had some big games against Baltimore.
Yeah.
Kind of just ironically, you're playing Baltimore in what could be your last game. What you get any memories against Baltimore?
I think the one when I had like 2-something against them, and just going back and forth with Steve Smith and I was probably one of the biggest moments, because I looked up to a guy like Steve Smith, growing up in his game and watching him do what he did at that age and that late in his career in Baltimore. A lot of people thought he was done playing. Was probably my big. I love seeing him, and I was able to capitalize on what he was doing as well. So
that game you had 3 touchdowns against them back in 18.
Mhm.
It was a night game.
Yeah.
Did you get them in 3 different spots? I mean, if I'm trying to remember, I think you were lined up in 3 different spots, weren't you?
Yeah, I was all over the place in that game. So that's where it was back then. But yeah, that was a fun game as well.
But now you'll probably be lining up at X, right?
Yeah, probably. So
From a receiver standpoint, how much more different, or how different is your job when you are lined up primarily at the X and you're not moving around as much? How does that make just routes, concepts? How does that make things different for you personally?
just a little different. Because I'm only running a couple routes off that position, so a lot of people some of the stuff I'm running. But nothing I can do. Just go out there and run my route.
Even though nothing is certain, the possibility exists that this could be your last game in Cincinnati. And you watched Andy do it last year. Have you thought at all about what that moment will be like, walking off the field for what could be the final time?
No, like I said, man, I'm a very even keel guy. Like I said, I had great times here. If this is my last game, I had unbelievable 10 years here. Wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I appreciate the Brown family for giving me this opportunity. But all that, this is the last game. I really don't look into all that. Just another chapter in my book to where I can go out there and continue to play football if it's here or somewhere else. So I really don't get caught up in, this is my last game. I had a great time here. If this is my last time, but I just look at it just as another opportunity. If it's here or not somewhere else, just to continue to live my dream and play football. So
2 more minutes.
AJ, T. Higgins, teammate now, 10 years in, he's a rookie. He says his hero's AJ Green. That's probably not the first guy that you've encountered that said, they followed you and you were their hero. What is that like? What's that feel like when a player and now a teammate, has that kind of opinion about you?
I'm getting old, getting very old. When I was coming in, I always looked up to like Andre Johnson and all those guys when we played the Texans, and he coming over at me and I'm talking like I watched you in high school, and he's like, appreciate it, young, and going through the Pro Bowls and watching Reggie Wayne and all those, Brandon Marshall, all those guys, and now I'm one of the old guys. So it's a little crazy being on the field and all these guys. Like I used to play with you in Madden in high school and all that. So that's crazy. It's definitely humbling and it's a blessing to where I made that impact to where I can these young receivers can really look up to my game and stuff like that. But I was just happy to play the game, man. I just love playing this game, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for me.
Was there any one of the young receivers who came up to you this year and kind of made an impression on you? about how much he enjoyed watching you play as a
Last weekend, Brandon Cooks, when he was talking how he used to watch me and I was his favorite player all the time, and it was a little weird because I didn't know Brandon Cooks was that young, so crazy to see him, hear him talking like that, and some of the young DBs that was like on a recruiting visit when I was working out in Georgia like 2 years ago. So it's crazy.
One last question.
Have you talked to your boy Kevin Durant lately?
No, not yet. I talked to him in the off season, so it's like we went back and forth on IG for a while. But I'm definitely gonna be at a couple games to whenever they open, that arena up. I definitely gonna be on the court somewhere.